everyone, and welcome to The Common Critic here on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. I am Brandon.
I am Cody.
I'm Dallas.
And we're talking about a Max Lord 1984. I mean, Wonder Woman 1984. I forgot what movie I was watching during this, man. Max Lord's so much better than Wonder Woman in this.
You agree? Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
We have a lot of thoughts about it, but before we get started, spoilers, right? Spoiler
Yes,
100%.
Yeah, always. Every episode. We're not.
There's not really that big of spoilers in this movie, but yeah, spoilers.
Here's a spoiler. It's bad. It's not a good movie, man.
This is a terrible movie.
Very tough to watch.
Yeah. Well, Dallas, you watched it like 3 times more than any of us.
I had to be 100% certain on how bad it was.
Yeah, no. I only needed one time to do that.
Yeah.
So let's go around. Let's get general thoughts. Cody, we'll start with you. Take a few minutes, man. Tell us your general thoughts on this movie.
Well, heck, where do we want to start? First act? The most pointless part of the whole movie? I don't know. General consensus, this is a terrible movie. Overinflated. They were trying too hard, I believe, in a lot of things. Redeemable qualities would probably the actually acting. Gal Gadot was good. Kristen Wiig was good. She was probably by far the best part of the whole movie for me. And I just thought it was just a little too much and a little not enough, I guess.
Dallas, what about you?
How do you have an action comic book movie and only have 3 action scenes and none of them are good? None of the action sequences are like fun to watch. You know what It's an action movie. And then the storyline is confusing. There's plot holes everywhere. It's just not fun to watch the entire time.
But yet you watched it 3 times.
Yeah,
just twice.
Oh, twice.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was 3 times.
I thought it was 3 times.
No, just the 2 times.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. If I had 2 words to describe it, it's going to be goofy and boring. Man, the first 2 action sequences, one is useless. The first one, the one on Amazon, totally useless. You don't need a big action sequence like that to teach honesty. And then 2 being that mall scene, which literally felt like an 80s movie. Was that what they were going for?
I guess, yeah.
I don't know. They have these
and
freaking Home Alone type villains, man. Harry and Marv are robbing a jewelry store. Come on.
And then they forgot the 80s after the mall scene.
I know. And then 80s, well, let's not forget the Trevor dressing.
Oh, yes.
But
they didn't even have a montage music.
I know, nothing.
They forgot the best part of the 80s is the music.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. It's goofy and it's boring. And then after those, you go 70 minutes without another scene. And let's not pretend, dude, this is a comic book movie. We're there for the action, dude. We're not there for, like, really much else. It's nice to see character development, right? It's nice to see other things. But I would agree with you, Cody. The one redeemable thing, and it barely saves any speck of respect I have for this movie, is the acting. Yeah. For me, not Kristen Wiig, more Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
very charismatic villain, and that's why I said this is more a Max Lord movie than it is a Wonder Woman movie. So you said you like Kristen Wiig the best. What is it about her performance specifically that you love?
Well, I guess the best thing about it, I think, is she came out of her comfort zone, as she's known for being
not on Saturday Night Live anymore.
Yeah, a comedy genius, right? I love her as a comic actor, and I think she blew it out of the water with her serious moments. The only thing that was bad about her performance really wasn't even her fault. It was basically when she turned into Cheetah, and
so dumb.
They forgot to, I don't know, like we were talking about, the colors in the movie were supposed to be part of the 80s. And
yeah, if I could interrupt, I felt cheated. They pitched this big color palette, 80s color palette, right? The trailers, the poster, everything colorful. And then the last fight scene was dark, and I couldn't tell who it's who. There was hardly anything with the colors. You know, this isn't Guardians of the Galaxy where color is big, right?
So it should have been. That's the thing. It should have been. Because Wonder Woman was in her gold wingsuit. We'll get back to that, by the way. I haven't thought about that. And the golden cheetah, and they both look dark blue to me the whole time, and just mashed together.
Dallas, do you have any positive thoughts on the movie while we're getting there? Since I feel like we're just going to kind of tank this movie, so maybe get the positive stuff out now.
I mean, Gal Gadot's not bad to look at. That was
Coming from the single guy in the room. So.
well, yeah, that was my favorite part. That was really about it. But I mean, it's Max Lord really gets more. It seems like as much screen time as she does for the movie,
or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the ending, it basically just ends with him, and then they throw in that stupid scene with her and Trevor in the snow, and it's like, what is going on?
Well, the body takeover of Trevor, that was very weird, and don't understand why they did that.
Also, when they're in his apartment after, and Steve's looking in the mirror, realizing, did he not do that the day before when he woke up in some guy's apartment? There were no mirrors in the bathroom. He was just like, oh no, I look like Steve, and then that was the first moment he realized it wasn't him.
They never really explained that.
It's plot holes, man. They're all over this movie, and they bleed into other DC
convenient
movies.
Plot holes.
Oh, convenient is a big word to be using in this movie, man. Yeah, like her flying, but we'll get into that later.
Yes.
Let's save some of this for the end, because I think we're going to have a big talk on the ending, at least. Here's the thing with DC, and what I've been noticing is DC always goes too big, man. They just go too big. Look at these other DC movies, man. Man of Steel, half the world dies. Suicide Squad, like a third of the world gets destroyed, right? These huge movies and stuff. And now in Wonder Woman, like the entire world is affected, right? It's massive, right? Why can't it be? And this is a good example. Good example is Ant-Man, dude. I love the Ant-Man movie. The climax of that movie takes place in a little girl's bedroom. And I thought it was a great sequence, dude. That's all you need.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to be comparing Marvel and DC all the time, even though I am a huge Marvel fanboy. I want DC to do good, because I think DC in the comics actually has more compelling characters.
I agreed, yes.
And they're just not doing anything with them, man.
Well, they've been playing catch-up for 10 plus years now, and that's the problem, so...
And they're not doing a good job. They're rushing things. I love how, especially for Aquaman, they hired a horror movie director to do that movie after they announced that they're going to stop making their movies so dark. Yeah. They say, we're going to stop making this so dark and gloomy and whatnot. And the first thing they do is go hire a horror director. I'm like, come on, man. Don't you guys see what you're doing here? So, Wonder Woman, not good. Let's give the ratings. Dallas, I'll start with you. Tell us what you gave it out of 10 and why.
I gave it a 4 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Really, it's a 2 out of 10 movie, but the acting bumps it up to a 3, and then Gal Gadot always gets it up to a 4. So that's basically it. There's nothing really redeemable.
Is that really the only reason it got bumped up an extra point for you?
Yes, 100%. If it was just Gal Gadot in the Wonder Woman suit for 2.5, I think that would have been a 5 out of 10 over what was actually on the screen.
Probably been more enjoyable too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh boy, you guys. All right. Cody, you actually gave it the lowest score, I believe. What'd you give it?
A 3 out of 10.
Why is that?
Pascal, Wig, Gadot.
Okay, so you talked about Wig. What about Pedro Pascal did you like?
Even though he was a little bit over the top for me, that's why I give the edge to Stewart for me, Kristen Stewart. Oh, not Kristen Stewart, sorry.
Yeah, I did. Wig.
Kristen Wiig, sorry.
There you go. You're
good. That's a brain fart. But, that's why. But Pascal was over the top, but I enjoy pretty much anything he's in, so he's one of my favorite actors.
He's definitely getting up there for me, and we're going to be talking about him next week when we review Season 2 of The Mandalorian. A little bit of a heads up, but Pedro Pascal, I want to jump on him again. He caught my attention so much because he was so charismatic. I was so focused in on the movie when he was manipulating people to give him their wishes, essentially. Now, there's a lot of plot holes in, I wish I was you, I wish I was the star. Okay, he didn't turn into a rock or anything.
Yeah.
Right, that could have been a big twist of irony. That sounds like an Indiana Jones plot, actually. Yeah. Like some villain finds some great stone. He's like, I have all the power. And then the bitter irony is they get what they want, but they turn into like a rock or something. All right. Hey, hit us up for Indiana Jones 5 ideas. Am I right? Yeah, Harrison Ford, if you're listening. But Pedro Pascal, I found myself so drawn to him when he's putting his hands on people saying, don't you wish this, don't you wish that. And it was huge, and he gets the whole world. But the thing that upsets me, and it's an automatic minus a point, in the score if you do this. If you talk down a villain, no, do not talk down a villain.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, maybe there might be some exceptions. Nothing comes to mind. Maybe the dance-off in the first Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. But other than that, I really can't think of any scenario where talking down a villain is going to be the high point of that. And I think that's why Cheetah was brought in, and I think that's why she was kind of wasted just a little bit, because it's like, all right, we need someone on the level of Wonder Woman. Anyways, that's it for the first segment. When we come back, we're going to be talking some more stuff we don't like, maybe a little bit more about Steve and Trevor. There's a lot we don't like, but we're going to be talking about Steve and Trevor and maybe some of the more comic booky ideas when we come back. All right, everybody, welcome back to The Common Critic. We're excited, and we're going to be going over, I think we should hit more on the plot, right? I think we should talk more of the story and how much of it there was. Now, let me ask you this. We really hyped up Pedro Pascal, but in his story, in this part of the plot, was he just doing everything for oil? Like, is that it? Like, that's what I felt like. Like, he was just trying to build his oil empire? Or am I confused?
Power. Yeah, that's what I felt like. It was just oil and power. I think once he got a taste of the little bit of power that he got, because at the beginning he was just trying to fulfill his oil fields that were not being, I guess, utilized, right? And then he got a little taste of it, and he wanted more and more and more. I think is what they were trying to go for. But if you want to talk plot, it's going to be pretty quick. There's not much plot to it. So,
what about you, Dallas?
Yeah, I just never got like why he was all of a sudden just like this huge villain. After he was just like, I'm just trying to get my oil company like going because it's in the tank, and then all of a sudden he's I'm going to take over the world.
Yeah.
Just in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
He saw a magazine. He's like, I don't have the most oil. I'm going to go do that. And then just everything just blew up from there.
And then he gets it, but he's like, what's next?
Yeah.
Well, I guess his health, right? I guess his health started deteriorating because he is the gem or the...
But he doesn't even ask for people's help
until like
the very end.
Yeah, I understand.
Basically, you can. I mean, that was the like.
And then there's
when he's like bloodshot eyes and has just blood just streaming, and he's like talking to someone. Why would someone not just immediately pull their hands away? Like, dude, you have some sort of disease. Get away from me.
Yeah. And then the convenience of a technology that all of a sudden they can touch everybody in the world is one of our convenient plot holes.
Did they get past that? Did they do like some retcon where he touched the general and is all like, don't you wish this would work for me? And he's like, oh, of course. So did that just like automatically make it to what he thought would happen actually would happen? Like he was just covering his bases?
I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. And then Kristen Wiig, I feel like she got 2 wishes somehow.
Well, because remember, instead of, you know how he takes when he grants wishes?
Yes.
So if in that, when they're in the room originally, she's standing there before she's Cheetah, before Wonder Woman's come in. He goes, I give her the rage, the prowess. Like he gives it to her. He takes it from other people.
So he takes it and gives it to her.
He takes it and gives it to her. So technically, yes, she did get like 2 wishes.
So that's one of the few moments they actually showed and not tell in this movie.
No, but I forgot about that too until I rewatched it, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, how did she all of a sudden just turn into that? But
you hit a big point. Show and not tell.
Yeah.
Right? Something they did not hit on in this movie. It was tell. Absolutely everything, right? Like even, and one thing I'll give them credit on, kind of moving away from the villain and the ending here a little bit, is I'm going to give them a little credit for actually whipping out the invisible jet. Okay, like that's a good move, right? Like,
even though she learned to do it in 5 seconds.
No, we keep hitting this word convenient, right? This is, I think, personally, by far the most convenient part of the movie, right? Not only at the Smithsonian is there a jet that a World War I pilot somehow knows how to fly. 2, it's fully fueled to make it to Cairo. Come on, man. Yeah. And then 3,
doesn't exist. She
goes from turning a coffee cup invisible to an entire jet. It's all too convenient. But I do like the invisible jet, man. I'm going to give it to him. Yeah. I dig it. I mean,
the world's ending. Might as well fly through some fireworks, right?
I know, dude. Okay, listen. I grew up with a pilot of a dad. Yeah. Last thing you want to be doing is getting anywhere close to fireworks.
Yeah.
Dallas, you look like you got something to say.
Well, no. Do we really believe they would have made it off that, like, 50 feet on the runway.
No, not even a little bit.
That's a convenient runway.
You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
a lot of
he's like, yeah, we
convenience.
got to pick up speed. It's like, well, you won't even be able to get
Yeah.
that much speed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, again, a lot of convenience
Yeah.
for everything.
I'm going to go to the convenient golden suit, which really didn't really play into the movie very much.
No,
It was conveniently in the corner all of a sudden, and it was just kind of like thrown in there.
it's kind of a cool story. It's the story of it was this great warrior that got left behind, and to help her survive, they
Yes.
all gave the. That's kind of a cool story.
I like the
Right.
story. Here's what I think they should have done. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. I think they should have introduced that golden suit in the beginning when they were at the Amazon island.
Oh, nice.
I think instead of her, she didn't cheat, she didn't lie, she just improvised. She fell off her horse. She went down the slide, got back on her horse.
I thought she got sidetracked. Yeah, I didn't see it as lying at all.
It wasn't lying at all. And so I think she should have won that if they were getting to. I don't think they should have done that whole scene anyway. I think what they should have done is somehow how she like stole the golden suit and flew around with it or something, or
Used it to win the race.
or something, yeah, and then be able to learn of the origin of that suit in the beginning. That way it's planted and it's not just shows up in the middle of a scene in the corner.
Well, here's something interesting. Warner Brothers wanted to cut that opening scene, but Patty Jenkins begged for it, man. Begged for that opening scene. That could have been cut, man. How long is this movie?
2.5 hours.
It's about 17 hours.
Yeah, it felt like it.
Can we talk about how it's? I mean, we kind of get Max Lord as on the commercial. We don't really know. Like that could be anyone on TV. Like, you know how they just introduce. You know, we don't actually meet him for the first 35 minutes.
Is that true?
It's 35 minutes before he comes on the screen. Like, and it's like, how do you take 35 minutes just to introduce the main villain of this movie?
And they introduce him with a meme, right? That's the new meme. You guys see it around?
No,
Life
I
is good, but it can be better.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen that.
That's the new meme, man. Come on, you're not going to introduce your villain by creating the new meme format, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Here's the thing. Max Lord would have done better, I think, as a Justice League villain. Now, hear me out, right? It's almost like a Baron Zemo in Civil War. Baron Zemo never physically fought any of them. He was just smarter, had some way to, outdo them. Being able to manipulate and bring power from wishes of others and touching everyone in the world to gain mass power, that would have been, and then he could have used it to summon legions or armies or something big for the Justice League to fight. I think this would have done better as a bigger villain, right? And that way, maybe you bring in, what's the evil Justice League called him? Legion of Doom or something like that.
Yeah.
You could have introduced them, right? Because Cheetah was just wasted. We brought it up earlier. Cheetah was just someone else physically to
I feel
fight.
like she was more of a threat when they're at was it in the
The White House?
The White House.
That's actually my favorite fight scene.
Yeah. She was more of a threat then
It's
than she
the
was.
only good or decent fight scene of the whole movie.
I would say it's a good fight scene.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think she was more of a threat then than she was as Cheetah, as she's. And I think you brought this up, Dallas, that she had the same powers as Wonder Woman, and yet she can get electrocuted underwater.
Yeah,
I think that changes afterwards because she says she wants to be the whole apex predator sort of thing. I think maybe her powers get changed a little.
Okay.
Because if it's true,
If she want to be the
suddenly
apex.
she could fly, right? Because Wonder Woman can fly out, which we're going to talk about in the next segment.
Don't
right?
get me
'Cause
started on
that
talk about
ruins,
show and not tell.
That ruins
Or tell, not show.
Batman versus Superman and Justice League that she could fly. How convenient would that have been in those two movies? So we're going to talk about that a little more later. We're also going to talk about the visuals. I think we should hit more on the colors and whatnot in the next segment. Dallas, it looked like you had something to say about Cheetah in the White House fight scene. You liked it, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I liked it. I mean, she was obviously more powerful than her at that point. And it was, so, I mean, I don't know. If they would have fought, I don't know. I would have liked it a lot more before she was Cheetah if Gal Gadot had, more of her full powers. Because, I don't know, at that point it just felt like she was just a regular person and she was just getting thrown around. So it kind of took it a little away from me because she was just going to get beat up the whole time.
Yeah.
That was why I just said it was a decent fight scene instead of...
I kind of liked it because you get a lot more of Stephen Trevor here in this one. And, I like Chris Pine. good action, right? Good fight scenes with him, but there's not a lot of superpower fight scenes in this one. I don't know what it was about the White House scene. Maybe it was the cool breaking through the lasso, breaking through the, what is that called, the gauntlets thing. Yeah. Anyways, we are going to wrap up this segment. Next segment, we are talking colors, right, and how we got cheated out of the cool 1984 color palette. Anyways, this is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. All right, welcome back to The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. We are excited to talk about how we got cheated out of a cool color palette, and boy, is it rare when I'm upset about colors in a movie. Why am I so upset? Like, I don't know why.
Because you've been spoiled.
Have I been spoiled?
With Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, right? They're a good use of...
and all the listeners out there...
Stop comparing Marvel and DC.
I know, all the listeners out there, I like DC.
I love it.
A lot. And I love Marvel a lot. So don't think we're just Marvel lovers in here.
Well,
but the color palette on Marvel movies is pretty fantastic.
It's not even color with this. It's CGI. Something that upset me so bad. You guys remember in that, oh my gosh, we're talking about lame fight scenes and we totally skipped over that Egypt car chase because it was so lame.
I didn't even want to I didn't think it was even worth bringing up for how bad it is.
Well, what's bad about
convenient
is when she's running and she's doing that across the chest, like run, and it looks like she's like skating or skiing or something.
Speed skating, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like her feet are matched up with like the speed and stuff, and then like zoom in. It's this CGI, and I think it's a big reason why the end fight scene was in the dark is because maybe they had a really low CGI budget and everything just looked awful.
Yeah,
right?
They wasted it on the first scene.
No, they couldn't have wasted it on the first scene because I swear I saw the wires in the first scene, man. They didn't put any CGI into those first scenes because I saw all the dumb practical effects.
Fair enough.
But like when she scoops up the kids off the roof, I thought they were dolls.
They were. Like,
they
you can see it when...
Was that CGI or was those dolls?
I have no idea.
When she first rolls around, like, you literally see the, like... No movement out of the kids. You can tell they're dolls, and then it cuts away for 2 seconds, and then comes back, and then they're the real kids again. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's just
in the middle of Cairo. There's just a house on a road, and kids are playing in the road.
I know. Do these kids not notice like 5 massive military-style tank type things coming at them?
Where are your parents?
They're literally shooting a machine gun out of the back. Who wouldn't be able to hear that?
Now let me ask, could they not think of anything better to do here? Like, they used the scene to just abruptly end that chase.
That's the only thing they could think of.
I can't even remember why they were doing... Oh, they were trying to get to Max more. That's why they were getting the chase, right?
Again, on him, why does he all of a sudden just, like, kill them? He literally just sees her in the car, and he's just like...
Yeah.
Nah.
Get rid of him. Kill him.
Like, he hasn't been like that this whole time, and all of a sudden he's just... full blown, ready to go.
Dallas, the word you're looking for is convenience.
Convenience, okay, yeah.
Is that the word?
Yes.
Is that what the word we're looking for? That's a good word. We should use that word.
Have we used that yet?
Listen to our podcast. It's called Convenience.
The Convenient Critic. There we go. No, dude, so, like... and I think this is after the 70 minutes we've been talking about, right? So there's a lot in between. I can't even think, dude. Like I said, so I saw this...
Is there a lot in between?
I'm assuming so. I'm assuming there's 70 minutes worth of things. Because I was in a movie theater all by myself. We're fortunate enough to be in Utah where movie theaters are open. If theaters are open where you are and you feel comfortable enough, please go see them because we cannot have the movie industry die. No.
Yes, go watch movies.
That is the worst thing we could have. And it was scary that I was the only one in the theater. But this is the first time ever that I have been on my phone during a movie. I was all alone, so I was like, screw it, there's like no one who's going to be upset with me. And I was just chilling on Twitter and Instagram and whatever. There are better things out there than this movie to hold my attention.
Well, because we've talked about how the rules of a movie theater are stricter than church. Like
they're sacred, yeah.
You don't pull your phone out. You don't talk. You don't... Yeah. I literally only eat the popcorn in the previews. As soon as the movie comes on, the popcorn is down. I usually don't get a drink either because I do not want to have to use the restroom.
Right.
And I am there to see the movie in this experience because I love the movie theater so much.
Yeah.
that's a sacred place. So the fact that you've
broken those sacred rules.
If you're by yourself, it's a little more.
That's understandable.
I mean, I feel guilty even if I was by myself, man.
I feel guilty watching the movie with you, but yeah.
You do.
So I almost turned it off after the first act.
Really?
Yeah. The only reason I didn't was because of our audience. We are the common critics. So
doesn't it feel noble that we're doing a noble cause?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing: if you're listening to
be
this,
the critic to the common folk.
That's the reason why we do it, man.
Yes.
But who's still listening to this after the spoiler warning? Who hasn't seen it? Though? Gosh, I hope there's someone out there.
Everybody.
Beg to them, please.
Everybody.
Please don't watch this. Just watch this movie. It was a waste of time.
Yes. 100%.
5 hours for me. Because I did it twice.
You did watch it. Was there anything after the credits?
Just the Linda Carter little cameo.
I didn't stay. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh no,
I fast forward.
she's walking in like England or whatever, and a pole falls down, and she catches it, and some lady. You think it's Gal Gadot originally because it just shows it from the back the whole time, and she basically just says that it's just a shift in weight, like what Gal Gadot says when she saves Kristen Wiig, and that's basically it. And then
she turns around and winks at the camera.
Yeah. And it's a special appearance.
It was a wasted Linda Carter moment.
Isn't Linda Carter the original Wonder Woman?
Yeah, and she plays the.
She was in
Assyria. No, I'm saying she's. You know how the original Goldwing that who she technically is.
Yeah, in this universe.
In that cameo.
Oh, so when it shows that Amazon chick being beaten up, that's her.
Well,
it is her because it's her eyes. You can see her eyes.
Mm-hmm. And
I noticed it right off the bat. I'm a little older than these gentlemen here, and
didn't really watch the original.
I'm not. I didn't watch the original like when it aired, but I watched a lot of reruns growing up, so I could tell it was Linda Carter from the eyes.
Dude, in your generation, I think DC definitely ruled the media space. Then
100%.
Dude, DC used to be massive. Think about the original Batman animated series, obviously the old Wonder Woman series, even the Batmans growing up, Superman growing up. DC used to rule, man. What happened?
Iron Man.
Jon Favreau.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
They happened.
They
the ones who
happened,
dominated it.
I mean, me growing up, I loved Batman. Even Batman Forever. Batman and Robin, no. Obviously, that's the worst. That's the worst of all time. But bat nipples, right?
Oh, jeez, dude, that suit. Who approved that design? We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to. Anyway, sorry, getting distracted here. But yeah, growing up, DC was definitely, like I said before, I'm a DC fan. So,
do you think there's a better actress out there that could have played Wonder Woman better? Do you think Gal Gadot's like the perfect Wonder Woman?
They did really good, in my opinion.
I would agree.
I mean, you guys know how much I love her. So
yeah,
I don't think
her acting in the first movie, I think, was really overshadowed by Chris Pine. But I think because there's this sort of flip-flop dynamic in this movie, right? Because in the first Wonder Woman, she was kind of the fish out of the water in Stephen Trevor's movie. Is that his name, right? Stephen Trevor?
Yeah, that's correct.
I keep wanting to say Trevor Stevens.
It's all right. I said Kristen Stewart, so we're good.
But now...
Names.
That guy.
Names.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyways, she was kind of the fish out of water in his world, right? Mm-hmm. But now he's the fish out of water in what you would consider her world, right?
Correct.
So it's at least an interesting dynamic, and now she doesn't get overshadowed by Chris Pine's acting, because I think Chris Pine is actually a very talented actor.
Yeah.
Right? He's probably... I have this list of actors and actresses. I call it the I will watch whatever they're in.
And he's on it.
List. Yeah, I think he's on it. Pedro Pascal is on it. Robert Downey Jr. is on it. Keanu Reeves is on it.
How many Chris's are on that list?
All of them.
All the Chris's.
And every Tom, too, by the way. Every Tom is on there, too. So at least that's an interesting dynamic, and that takes up that... We keep bringing up this 70-minute portion. That's what it takes up. But how lame is it that she just, like, leaves him on the side of a building during a riot? She's just like, I need my powers back. I know they make it more dramatic than that, but they just leave him, and then you get the lamest, like, I'll always love you forever, Diana.
Well, okay, so do you think, like, immediately, like, he's just gone and that guy just wakes up on the side and there's just riots in the street? And he's just
absolutely,
like,
dude.
What is going on right now?
100%, dude.
They didn't show or tell in that moment.
No.
But that whole guy, they didn't show her tail in that moment at all.
And then he just shows up in a stupid outfit. While it's snowing.
At least he comes back for a 15-minute conversation with her before the movie ends.
Yeah.
And then we just watch her red balloon.
Yeah. How good does Gal Gadot look in snow?
How good?
I'm sorry.
When did it snow?
At the very end.
Yeah, I remember the very
And it
end.
goes to show you how much I was paying attention to the movie, dude. I couldn't even think of it snowing.
No, yeah, that's the very end scene after Max Lord just, gets to go back in the helicopter.
Yeah, the villains just get away with it.
And lands right next to his son.
Conveniently.
Somehow.
And now Kristen Wiig is just chilling, whatever. Villains get away with it, man.
Yeah.
How lame is that? Not only do they get talked down, there's no consequences. Is this an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where there's no consequences to their actions?
I
sounds
would
about right.
enjoy It's Always
Pleasantville.
Sunny more, but
Well, who doesn't love that?
That's true.
Man, one of the greatest. That's something we could spend a lot of time on.
I would like to get into that at some point.
That's actually a decent comparison. This feels like an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
But not as good a comedy.
I know, but 25 minutes of that feels a lot better than 2.5 hours of this.
Facts.
So when we come back, we're going to go over our scores again, and we're going to give some shout outs to our social media. And then, just our final thoughts. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. What's good, everyone? We are The Common Critic. The Common Critics, maybe. I don't know. Should we change it? No, and we are again talking Wonder Woman 1984, or Cheetah 1984, Max Lord 1984, or freaking random guy that Stephen Trevor takes over 1984. Anything but Wonder Woman, really.
I'm not sure if it was 1984. I don't know what was there. That was 1984 besides the mall.
What would be a worse time period for this movie to take place? Would it be like 2002 with everyone wearing like baggy jeans and like frosted tips and stuff?
Hey, that's my generation.
No, it would be
that was a great
2020 because everyone would just be in home and no one would be doing anything.
Yeah.
What would everyone wish for the pandemic to be done?
Probably.
If it was in 2020.
I would hope at least one person would wish for that.
That's true.
So let me ask.
That's another thing I was wondering. Sorry. It's just, of all the wishes, did not one person wish something good?
Everything was selfish?
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Like, nothing was
Well,
good.
Max Lord's son did.
Nah,
But, dude, let me ask, did everyone in the world have to rescind their wish?
That's those who ever wished, I guess.
Okay, what I was thinking, what about the lady who wakes up in the coffee shop because the one dude rescinds his,
But she didn't.
But so are all Irish people just still getting kicked out of Britain? Because she doesn't know what's going on. She just dropped dead. But she wished all the Irish people were out of. So I mean,
another plot hole.
Did he tell her? Was he
Irish or somewhere?
He's like, hey, I guess I caused your death.
Yeah.
So could you maybe?
I don't know. They didn't show or tell in that moment. Wonder Woman 84.
Convenient.
Yes.
So here's the thing. I will give them some credit for at least having decent consistency in villains, because technically wouldn't the overall villain be just another Amazon god? Because the first one was God of War, right? And isn't this like the God of Mischief or something, which is why they had to have that big opening scene?
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen someone represent...
Was the opening scene? Well, the God of Mischief, I don't remember.
No. So, like, Diana realizes that the stone is like the god of mischief and the god of lying, and that's why she realizes they do that.
I see what you're saying now.
That monkey paw thing, saying, sure, you get your wish, but something has to... Right. So at least she's constantly facing these Amazonian gods, but I would have liked to have seen someone actually physically represent that villain, right?
I agree.
Ares was a cool villain to begin with if they would have gotten rid of his mustache in the first one. That takes me out of the movie, dude.
I could only think of Harry Potter when I saw him. I was just hey, it's Arthur Weasley.
Exactly. Yeah, it took me out of the moment.
So then all of a sudden he was just supposed to be this big, bad god. I was like, no. That was, I mean,
that took me out.
Yeah.
Well, even if it was, they should have gotten a different actor, because that mustache, I remember seeing some chick in front of me in the movie theater during that laughed at that scene when the mustache came on.
I think I did too.
You would have
maybe you mistake me for a chick. I'm not sure.
No offense, Cody, you're not very feminine. I guess that's more of a compliment.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, dude. Anytime. Let's go around. Let's repeat the scores, and this is something we do on the Common Critic. We do our scores, and then at the end we say whether or not it's worth a watch. And last time we talked, I think, Dallas, you were kind of on the fence on whether or not you'd say it was worth it. But last time we talked, you had only seen it the one time. So let's start with you. Repeat your score, give us some final thoughts, and then tell us if it's worth your time, if it's worth subscribing to HBO Max, or what.
Well, I mean, I think everyone should subscribe to HBO Max.
Oh, it's going to be one of the best.
That's different. And that's strictly just because Entourage is on there. The
nice.
Greatest TV show of all time. But
HBO Max, we're looking for sponsors.
Well, hey, Breaking Bad is still out there, so second greatest.
That's true. But no, 4 out of 10 for it. Just, if you really want to see Gal Gadot that bad, still don't watch this movie. It's not worth it.
Ooh, okay, so you've moved to not worth it.
Watching it a second time, I just found myself, like, I was doing other tasks while doing it, and I still was just, I'm like, I'm just not into this. Nothing even, you know how, like, sometimes you're doing something while watching a movie, and all of a sudden a scene comes on, and you're like, oh,
I gotta stop and watch it.
I'm distracted. I'm at least going to watch, like, the next 20 minutes. Like,
you're going to watch the portal scene of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, or, you know, you turn
time
on the TV, Goodfellas is on cable, and you're like, automatically, you're just going to at least watch. What, you think I'm funny? Huh? Am I a clown? Do I amuse you? Like, you know what I mean?
You gotta stop and watch it.
You know, you're going to say, nothing about this movie made me
want
to just stop.
I have a point to that. Remind me to bring it up later.
I just wanted the movie to stop. Yes, 100%.
All right, Cody, what about you? Repeat your score. Is it worth it?
I'm going to go 3 out of 10 again. And I'll tell you what I think about it. I think Gal Gadot is like a filet mignon. I think Kristen Stewart is a great cheeseburger that you've had over and over. Kristen Wiig. Oh, my gosh. Kristen Wiig.
I was just going to leave you to it. I think our listeners know who you're talking about.
Kristen Wiig. That's my age.
Kristen Stewart would have been hilarious in this role. Just shaking her hair the whole time.
She's like a cheeseburger you had over and over again, but then you get it again, and it's like better.
Okay.
And then Pascal is just like this over-the-top pizza that just is fantastically good. But you can't have them all together. You can't have them all these entrees all together. It just becomes a mess, and it's terrible. And that's how I got the 3 out of 10. That's how I'm going to put my ratings, and I'm definitely going to say it is not worth a watch.
Isn't it sad Chris Pine's in this movie and we hardly bring him up?
Oh,
what a waste, dude.
Is he really, like...
Is he in this movie?
There's nothing really, like... The only cool thing is, like, when he's, like...
Trash can?
Well, that part's probably the funniest part of the movie.
A solid Hot Rod reference.
I love it. I didn't know if you wanted me to keep going, but we can reference Hot Rod all day long.
But I mean, really, the only thing that he really does is the fight scene in the White House, and that's the only...
Flies the jet?
Yeah. But the Flies the jet is just a forgettable sequence. So, yeah, it's...
So,
yeah, that's...
I'm going 4 out of 10. Of course, I'm keeping it. It is not worth it. You brought up, Dallas, that some scenes you got to sit down and watch. And I think even in bad movies, sometimes there are scenes like that. Here is, and I've thought about this hard. Here's a great reference. And I'm going to say The Phantom Menace, right? Not a good movie. Mm. But when it's Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan against Darth Maul, I am sitting down and my 100%. Eyes are glued to that. That is a huge redeeming quality of that movie. In a movie filled with just trash and horrible acting and plot holes, and I think George Lucas literally just wrote it on his way to the studio, like just... I don't know.
Yeah.
That scene makes up for it, right? Was there a scene like that in this movie?
No.
Is there something you're going to sit down and pay attention to? Is there something you're going to tell your friends? Yeah, it's awful, but...
There's no but.
I mean,
no.
Because could they have at least made the last action scene, like just... If they would have just gone in, like all in on that, you would be at least like, all right, it's kind of boring up to it, but then... It's worth it for that last scene. It's
There's
like
no build-up.
Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. A lot of people told me like it was super boring, and they're like, but the last scene, like
my favorite last scene in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh my gosh, just fantastic.
If there was at least something, especially the last, like the payoff scene, they really could have done something to make the payoff scene at least.
There was no payoff.
Worth it.
So let me ask you this. Give it to me in like 30 seconds. Where would you rank this? Just really quick amongst the DC movies, because I would probably have it second to last. I think Suicide Squad is still just...
Are we including Birds of Prey?
Yeah, we have
Oh,
to.
there's a forgettable movie because I forgot that even.
Yeah.
Yes, freaking Birds of Prey. Not the new Joker. That doesn't count. That is a
That
masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
That does not count for DCEU, right? I have it second to last, dude. And boy, are they lucky Suicide Squad exists.
Third to last for sure for me.
That's what I was going to say. Third to last behind Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey.
100%.
All right. That's good. So that pretty much ends our Wonder Woman review. We're excited for next week. We're doing The Mandalorian. If you guys have not watched it, y'all need to watch it. If you're a Star Wars fan, I think we have a good, how would we call it, dynamic here. I'm a huge, big, diehard Star Wars fan. Cody, you're...
I love Star Wars. Not a big, huge Star Wars fan like
Yeah.
Brandon, but I like and love Star Wars.
Never really enjoyed them.
Well, what's interesting, Dallas, you and I actually have seen Empire Strikes Back in theaters.
Which was
So I
tight.
think you're lying. I think you're actually a massive Star Wars fan. But you're just like, you've seen Empire Strikes Back in theaters.
That's
man.
true.
We'll convert them. It's not too hard to
We're
convert.
gonna go get a Star Wars tattoo next. That's
how
how big a fan I am.
Yeah, you're lying to us. So that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to be doing the Star Wars Western because that's what it feels like. Shout out to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for absolutely saving Star Wars after the awful sequels.
And
Yeah.
saving. Well, we'll wait.
We'll wait because we're going to have a lot of thoughts on that. Please. So go ahead and find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like us, The Common Critic, everywhere. These podcasts will be on YouTube. You can see what we look like, guys. Give a shout out to the camera.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're all wearing hats because none of us wanted to do our hair. Find us on Instagram. Interact. We always respond to messages. oh yeah, you don't have hair.
No, I don't have it.
We always respond to messages, always respond to comments. We're going to be getting a Twitter here soon. You could find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. We're also going to be on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. You could download that app. You could listen to us live, and you could listen to us on the podcast Anchor. Literally, if you're listening to us right now, you probably have a way to listen. So we are The Common Critic, and thanks so much for listening to us.